Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. I just went and saw Happy Death Day and I was kind of surprised. Since it is October and I've been doing kind of Halloween horror themed videos throughout the entire month, I thought I would do a review on the new horror movie Happy Death Day that just came out on Friday the 13th. Now I had a completely different video planned for today, but while I was writing it and started to record it, I really was not super fond of how it was turning out. So I thought I would challenge myself to do a review of the new horror movie that just came out, and I think it was a very good decision. Seeing the trailer for Happy Death Day probably about a month and a half ago, and since I live in LA, we get a lot of movie billboards, and seeing the billboards was just kind of like, this movie does not look interesting to me at all. It looks like a normal horror movie. I'm not a huge fan of horror movies, but of course I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, so I went to go see this movie, and like I said at the beginning, was very surprised by this movie. Happy Death Day is the new film produced by Blumhouse Pictures, who also produced Get Out, The Purge, and The Visit. I was obsessed with Get Out when it came out earlier last year. This year? Came out in January? I can't remember, but I really loved Get Out. I love Get Out so much. It was one of the very few modern horror movies that I absolutely loved. I think the reason I like Happy Death Day so much is because it kind of makes you think the way the main character, Teresa or Tree, thinks and figures out who her killer actually is. The main problem I have with Happy Death Day is the trailers. I'd seen the same trailer for this movie in theaters multiple times. I'm pretty sure they played it before it, and they played it before another movie I reviewed a while ago, probably about a month ago. I don't remember for sure which one it was. But then I also saw a trailer for this movie it was a completely different trailer, and I saw it, well, not completely different, it just had a little bit different stuff added. I saw it during a new episode of a TV show, and I tweeted out this tweet, and I pretty much knew exactly who the killer was from this trailer alone. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I kind of want to go through my thoughts before I get to my thoughts on my tweet and this trailer and who I think the killer was throughout the entire movie. Going into this movie, I had very low expectations. One, because of the tweet, or because of my tweet about the trailer, and two, because I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I was like, this is just gonna be another horror movie. It might be kind of gory because it seems like it'll be kind of a gory movie. She gets stabbed, she gets killed, and gets reanimated again, which seems very much like what's gonna happen just based on the trailers. So I went in low expectations. I also got there 5 minutes after the movie, well, the previews had started, so I was kind of rushing getting there, and surprisingly, the entire theater was booked, so the only spots I could pick were the literal front row, and I picked like the very front row corner, so the screen was kind of warped and it was very hard for me to see, so I had like a kind of neck-breaking warped view of the screen, so that kind of didn't help me going into this. But saying that, I still really enjoyed the entire ride of this movie. I have mostly positive things to say about this besides the one thing I have with the trailers. Well, actually, we'll get to that. I talked about this in the American Made review I did a couple weeks ago, and Universal is really stepping up their logo game. For Happy Death Day, it is a Universal picture. They replayed the logo a couple times like it was reliving the logo, and it was so cool, and I really love how Universal is incorporating their logo introductions to the film itself, even though the Universal logo introduction was kind of broken up before the movie actually started by the Blumhouse logo, which I understand that because Universal is the bigger production house, so their logo goes first, but it kind of broke up the feel of continuity that they were trying to go for between the opening logo for Universal and the actual film. And in the beginning, you kind of don't really feel sorry for Teresa when she keeps getting killed, because she is such a jerk to everyone around her. No matter who they are, she is a total bitch. You don't feel sorry when she gets killed, and you don't really know who the killer actually is, because it could be so many people, and they even, in a very kind of meta-ish moment, point this out. Like, she starts listing off random people, like a Lyft driver she spit on, a girl she got fired from a clothing store, all of her sorority sisters, everyone on campus pretty much. It could be literally everybody, and it really makes you think along with her, like, who has the motive and the want to kill her. And she's kind of helped along by this guy Carter she meets from a one-night stand from a party before, which turns out to not be a one-night stand, which I guess is kind of a spoiler, but it doesn't really matter. The setup is very much stereotypical of a deja vu Groundhog Day kind of movie. The first time she's walking out of the dorm, you are very obviously directed at the guy staring at her creepily, the girl for global warming protests, the car alarm, the sprinklers, the fraternity pledges. Like, it's all very much obviously pointed out to you, but the way they incorporate it into the preceding day that she relives is very interesting, because they don't always go back to her reliving the same moments. The only moments you really see her relive are waking up. Every single time you see her waking up and dying. Those are the only two things that they always show in every single day, which, I mean, is obvious. It's kind of how the movie is supposed to flow, but it also is very nicely transitioned a lot of the times from how she dies to how she wakes up the next morning. And it's really interesting because you don't have to know what she has done every day leading up to that point. You just know what's going to happen in between these two bookends, but it doesn't matter. You just know what's going to happen at the beginning and what's going to happen at the end, and in the middle just gives you more information on how she finds her killer. Now let's talk about my tweet about the trailer. I was very upset because I love watching trailers, but I hate when they spoil movies. And I know I really shouldn't be upset that I was upset about a spoiler in a trailer for a movie that I hadn't even planned on seeing, but it was just so stupid and so obvious. If you watch the trailer, if you watch really closely, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to spoil it for you, because the great thing about this movie is all of the twists. Like, halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, so I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. It could be this totally different character. So I kind of switched my thought process. I was like, okay, there's going to be a twist where it's this character, and I was totally wrong about this trailer. But it turns out I was wrong again. And then I was like, okay, so it's this character, which to me at the moment didn't really make sense. So I was like, okay, it's this character, I guess, but I don't really get it. And I was kind of going to be disappointed with the outcome of this. So I was just like, okay, whatever, I guess. I didn't like this movie as much as I thought I did, but it's still a good movie, I guess. I probably would have given it a lower rating if the ending had turned out to be this third person who I thought was killing her. But then there's another twist, and sad to say, kind of spoiler warning, I was right. And I'm kind of okay with it. Like, the fact that the trailer spoiled who it was, I was okay totally with being spoiled on who the killer was, but at the same time, the journey to that point, totally awesome, totally cool, and I'm totally fine that I knew who the killer was, because I thought it was 3 different people, and I feel like I'm not articulating this correctly or in any coherent way, but I was not upset as I thought I would be at having something so integral to the plot of the movie being spoiled. I think it's such a great job how the director takes you on this journey of Teresa finding out who killed her, that being spoiled didn't even matter to me at the very end of the movie. Before I give my final score, I do want to talk a little bit about the comparison or lack thereof. I don't know how I would kind of tie this in, but I do get a little bit of Get Out vibes from this. I mean, the director is completely different, but that movie, like, this movie is completely different kind of from Get Out, but they both have kind of the same cerebral-ish kind of make you think horror, which I really love. I really love kind of make you think horror movies. I don't like the really gory stuff, which this had some gory stuff just like Get Out did. It had not as much gore as like The Purge would have or something similar to that, where it's like basically about killing, which I haven't seen The Purge because I don't like horror movies. But this, for being a movie about a girl who continuously dies, there honestly is not that much gore, and the gore that's there is done kind of tastefully, just like in Get Out, which they're two different directors, but they're both Blumhouse Pictures. So I feel like Blumhouse is doing some really great work. For Happy Death Day, I would definitely watch this again on Netflix. I probably would not get this on a DVD or a Blu-ray to add to my collection. It's a great movie, but it's probably not one that I would continuously watch or watch a lot. And I probably really wouldn't pay more than my Netflix subscription to watch it again, unless somebody really, really wanted to watch it with me and it wasn't on Netflix. But if it was on Netflix or Amazon or something like that, I would definitely watch it again, just kind of for a little scare yourself in the middle of the night kind of thing. As always, these are just my thoughts and opinions, but I would love to know yours. What did you think of Happy Death Day if you've seen it? Hey, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and let you know about an app called Stardust. It's an app where you can do quick 30-second reviews on movies and TV shows. I'm going to be posting my quick thoughts on new movies I see right after I see that movie, with a full review coming up either the next day or a couple days later, as well as my quick takes on any episodes of TV that I can't do a full video on. So follow me on that if you want to see reviews or my thoughts on specific movies a couple days or a couple hours early. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, whoever you are. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I post videos talking about movies, TV shows, nerdy, fun stuff. And all through the month of October, I'm going to be talking more horror and more Halloween. So stick around and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!